what we got here is my own 20 horsepower motor off my Miller Trailblazer, and I want to put it on this motor lift. The only problem is this motor lift is for a small block Chevy, small block Ford car engine, and the problem we have is these things here end up being too wide to fit the bolt pattern of my motor up there. What I did to fix that was take two 2x4s, cut them down to about 12 inches long. You can see here, this is the normal bolt pattern for the motor, and then I went ahead and drilled and countersunk holes, which will be where they bolt to my motor mount. So that's a pretty quick and easy solution for this, and once I get that up on there, then I can rotate this to take off heads, take off the oil pan, and just to do all sorts of stuff that you can't really do when it's sitting on the bench. Okay guys, so we got the motor on the motor stand. I got the intake exhaust, or the intake manifold and the exhaust manifold taken off. I did end up breaking a bolt right here on the exhaust manifold, which is going to suck. And then on the other side over here, I got two head bolts that also broke off. That's going to suck to try to get out. I don't know. This thing, I welded a nut on it, stripped out that nut, I welded the bolt on first and broke the bolt off, then welded the nut on and then broke this bolt off here. So I don't know what's going on with that. We'll have to, guess we'll have to come back through and try to drill this thing out and try to extract it another way. But anyways, what I want to do now is I want to drop this oil pan. I've been wanting to get this thing pulled off for a while. We're going to drop this oil pan and we're going to see if we got an oil pump in there, if the oil pump's working, and see what else is laying in the oil pan, if anything's laying in the oil pan. So let's go ahead and do that. So naturally, I got my oil pan off, and as you can see, we got parts of the connecting rod just hanging out in the bottom here. So that is that. We do got a oil pump here, and it looks like it's bolted in with two bolts in there, so we'll take that off and try to clean it up. Looking down inside here, yeah, it just keeps getting worse. Set that down there. We're going to rotate this motor around a little bit. And what we got here is, if you can see this right here, that's a big old gouge. That's probably, I don't know, 30 thousandths of an inch, maybe 60 thousandths of an inch. And there's some big old chunks out of the crank right there, and it almost looks like a scoring, like where the rod, or the connecting bearing, the main bearing, it won't be the main bearing, I guess it'd be the rod bearing on the crank itself, got hot and like melted to the crank. But it's got chunks missing out of it. It's got a big chunk missing out right there on the bottom that you can't see down inside there. So I don't know. The more we dig into this, the worse we get. On this thing here, the whole crank itself is rusted extremely bad. Like, not just surface rust, like it's bad. Come up here. This connecting rod don't look too bad here. But yeah, I'm afraid this crank is probably shot. freaking awesome. Anyways, let me see if I can get this oil pump off of here. Got my gasket there. Everything turns. I mean, it feels like it's turning the way it's supposed to turn and everything. I can kind of see the cam up on top there. I mean, it's definitely turning free, but it's got some serious problems. So let's bring this thing back up. This thing here. That's just the connecting rod there. I don't know. That's what goes around the cranks. I mean, I don't know what happened to the rest of the rod. That's a chunk of the rod, I'm guessing there. That's more of the round piece that goes around, more of the connecting rod there. There's just bits and pieces everywhere inside here. So on this motor, I'm going to have to get a new crank for this more than likely. I don't know if I could probably take it to a machine shop and get it machined. I don't know. We're going to have a connecting rod. We're going to have a piston. Probably I haven't got into the valves yet. I imagine the valves are probably shot. This is going to be like a complete rebuild if I even do it. I might not even do it. I just might call this thing done at this point because it's just getting too expensive to fix at this point. It might just be cheaper just to find a different motor or see if I can find one of these that's actually working. I got to sit down and price the parts and everything, and we'll go from there. But let me try to get this oil pump off, and we'll see what happens. I was going to take this oil pump off, but at this point there's no use in taking it off because there's a lot bigger things that need to be fixed besides whether or not this oil pump was going to work. What I want to do is take this off, get it clean, see if it worked, and then put it back on, and then try to clean the engine by putting like diesel fuel and oil mixture in there and run it through the engine. But with the crank being screwed up, with the rod being broken, with needing a piston, and who knows what else we're going to need once we get this thing taken completely apart, there's just no use in really taking this oil pump off at this point. So I'm going to have to go in here and price a bunch of parts, find out what a new crank's going to cost, find out what it's going to cost to get this crank machined, rod bearings, main bearings, connecting rod, a piston rings. That's just the top of my head what I can think of. Probably has something to do with valves. And then we've got to remove these broken off studs. I got 2 studs on this side here that I got to remove, and I got that stud on the exhaust manifold that's broken off. I got to get them 3 studs out. This is an aluminum block, so I don't know how hard that's going to be. I'm sure it's not going to be very easy. It's going to be really easy probably to strip that out. So what we're going to do is, or what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take this thing and put it off to the side for now. I'm going to price a bunch of stuff, decide whether or not this thing's going to be worth rebuilding, whether or not this welder is going to be worth rebuilding, and we'll go from there. If I decide that it's worth rebuilding, we'll make another video. If I don't, then this will probably be the last video of this welder, and I won't know for a couple weeks. So if you don't see any more videos, that's what's going on. Don't forget to go into the comment section, tell me what you think, like this video, share this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video.